All right, my love, you have to
Who
stop.
gave Jake a pencil?
No, dude, you
pulled it
fucking
out of his
live
ass.
here. Jake, though, that's gonna definitely get picked up by the mic, so you gotta stop when we're recording.
Eat shit.
Can I see for a second?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Don't break it. Yes, hide it over there.
I was gonna break it.
Don't break it. It's an actual pencil.
It's an actual pencil. Don't hurt its feelings. Don't
Look,
hurt the
it's
actual
very. It
pencil.
has no major monetary value, but to students of archaeology.
To A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. Me first. My name is Caitlin, and with me tonight are...
Jake.
Chris.
And Ames.
Okay. We are here tonight. Gonna blow your mind with this one. We're gonna be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation.
What?
I know. It's a
Look.
real...
I'm not prepared.
You say blowing minds, but we are running out of them.
Well,
Mines?
Episodes of TNG.
I lost my mind ages ago, to be fair. That's true. We're almost done. And, whoo boy, when we have weeks like this, I'm glad. And today, we're going to be discussing Firstborn and Bloodlines. In Firstborn, I don't really know, okay, I do know.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't.
In Firstborn, Worf is afraid that Alexander is not into Klingon culture enough because he doesn't want to do the Ascension or whatever. So he's like, let's go to a Klingon Ren Faire so you can see what it's all about. And while they're at the Klingon Ren Faire, not only does Worf do some of the most ultimate fucking audience participation improv show shit, he and Alexander are attacked by a couple of heavies, and they manage to fight, or Worf manages to fight them off. But they're...
With his new friend.
Well, no, not exactly.
Oh.
He fights them off, but then the new friend kind of shows up to stop the one dude from stabbing him in the back and scares them off.
Ah.
It's kind of he didn't actually yeah, it's actually kind of... Alright, anyway. So the dude's like, oh, Worf, you fought him off. You sure are tough. Whatever. Oh, your son's a little bitch. Let me help you teach him how to be awesome. So that dude's name... Is he Kimtar?
Yes.
Sound too much like Reptar. I don't like it.
You can call him Reptar.
All right, so Reptar is a friend. He says that he's been sent by Worf's brother. No, not the Russian archaeologist, but in fact the Klingon. And he is, I don't remember the word for it, and I don't know if you wrote it down.
Gintak.
Thank you. He's Gintak.
I'm sorry, I was just to be coughing.
Gintak of House Moog, which means that he is a friend that is such a close friend that he is considered family. And I actually kind of love that the Klingons have a word for that. Anyway, so yeah, he's like, let me help you teach little Alexander how to be a badass. And they kind of try. There's a little holodeck showdown where Alexander's like, well, why do I gotta kill a guy? Why can't I just do my thing? Basically disappointing everyone, as he usually does. Though for once he kind of has a good point, in my opinion. Anyway, they try to get him into being a big bad Klingon boy, and he doesn't want to do it. So there's a scene where Kimtar comes to Worf, and Worf basically almost kills him, and he's like, no, don't! I am your son! And Worf's like, the fuck?
Well, because Kimtar was gonna shoot Alexander.
Well, we all wanted to, haven't we?
Why did he stop him?
But yeah, he's like, no, that's me. And Worf's like, oh yeah, right. If you're really Alexander, then tell me what happened when your mom died. And Kimtar, nee Alexander, tells the sad tale of...
That's the one time I saw you cry, Dad. Oh.
It was, actually it was kind of a nice moment. But basically, Alexander came from the future to teach his younger self to be less of a little bitch, because one time Worf was totes killed by some dudes in the middle of the Klingon High Council or some shit, and Alexander just stood there with his finger up his nose. So he wanted to
Nothing's changed.
Yes, he wanted to go and alter history. He's like, instead of being a warrior, I was just a diplomat. What a lame job. And Worf's like, no, that's also a valuable job, son. And then he's like, oh, wait, there are other valuable jobs aside from warrior. Doi! And then he was like, Alexander, it's cool. You can be a wimp if you want.
You can let me die in the future.
It'd be better than spending more time with you as my son.
Like, I was like, plus, now I know, so maybe I won't die.
The more you know.
I mean, you've really just run roughshod over temporal mechanics.
Yeah, so this was another episode where literally all the plot happens in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and they spent like half the episode chasing the
Duras sisters.
Oh,
To,
yeah,
like,
I completely
remind us they
forgot about
existed.
that.
It's like a C plot that doesn't go too
It's
far.
like an E plot.
It's just how we know where the dagger came from.
It was like
Yeah.
a D-cup plot.
It's so that Worf knows to go confront Kimtar about the dagger, only for him to not bring up the dagger ever again.
Well, it was also an excuse to get Quark on the show.
I like
Yeah,
that.
the DS9. Well, as soon as, like, Riker was like, no, on DS9, Deep Space Nine, and he said it, like, in such a way that I was like, nice emphasis there, buddy.
I always like seeing Quark. Quark is super fun. There were 2 other guys in the chain of events of how to find the Duras sisters, and they were both just other types of Quarks, because they were all just comic relief characters that had the same kind of skeevy personality.
Oh, is that what they're doing here? They're mining? Oh, I guess that explains all the equipment or whatever. Like,
It's like, wow, you covered this element with Quark. Why do we need all these other ones? Was there that little plot? You couldn't have had I had Jake pause the show when we learned that Kimtar is Alexander, and it's literally like 5 minutes left in the show, right?
yeah.
You couldn't have done that earlier and then added more after to fucking make it a fucking episode. Fucking goddamn it, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm really unsure what they were going for in this show because they did spend a ton of time.
It was almost an
with
interesting
this
episode
Doris
without it.
sisters
Was it?
subplot?
I mean, trying to trade Alexander is probably the best thing to do with him.
Yeah.
Now, also, here's something, right? So, the Duras sisters say, this is the symbol of our house. You see, here's our dad, who we've never known. Mm-hmm. Here's us, me and my sister.
Yep. And here's Lursa's son.
Right, but why isn't Duras represented on there? Is it because he's dead? But the father's dead, too.
Well,
And why isn't Duras' son on there? Duras has a son, too, that's alive.
Yeah, wouldn't Duras' son be on his father's knife, not his mother's knife? Is
Actually,
it
also, we don't know-
patrilineal, or is it just whoever the fuck you
I
want
think
to
it's...
put?
Actually, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say probably... So, Duras' son was captured by the Klingons.
At the end of the
Civil War. So he's probably actually dead. He was probably put to death. More than likely. I don't see Gowron suffering him to live.
No.
So
I can imagine that the Duras sisters just assume leadership of the house.
Yeah.
But why is it still called the House of Duras? Duras is dead.
I mean...
And they're the leaders. Why isn't it the House of Bator or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lursa.
Yeah.
Weren't, like, women...
Fucking Gowron says that shit, but that's dumb.
He's in charge, so maybe that's the way it is.
I was saying when I saw this one, I thought of that. There's an old Family Guy gag where it's like, that's right, it's a Meg episode. Feel free to change a channel or whatever. And I was like, that's right, it's an Alexander episode. And it teases you. It's like, oh, maybe it's not going to focus on him as much. Maybe it's going to focus on his mystery. No, that's the main plot.
Well, and the mystery guy is also Alexander.
Yes.
I think
But he
They're
does
dueling Alexander.
I think this is the best performance we've gotten out of that child actor.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
suppose, yeah, that much is true.
I'll take that.
But I still just do not care about him.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I showed this to Jake earlier because Michael Dorn has a quote that he wrote that he took about this episode. The quote is, "We don't really know what happens now. Just that the future is uncertain. It's just like real life, but Worf is still a terrible father. He hasn't got a clue." And I love it. It's so perfect.
I like that even Michael Dorn knows that Worf is a bad father.
I love Michael Dorn. He's so great.
I love that too. It's like, Caitlin, you were saying this. You think Worf would be thrilled to have a chance to pawn his kid off on some Klingon academy, but all of a sudden he's like, no, he has to stay on the Enterprise with me because I care all of a sudden.
So how is it possible that a Klingon Ren Faire is actually lamer than a human?
Oh,
Like, the fact that they were doing, like, the mock fighting is stupid. Like, why weren't they just, like, using blunted swords or something?
I
Like,
found an anecdote on the internet about the mock fight, and that was that in the original, they just had them grunting whatever the lines were supposed to be, just, grunt and swing the bat'leth, and grunt and do this thing, and grunt and whatever else. And then they realized, no, we want it to be more ceremonial. So we're going to go back and add it and, specifically write lines in Klingon verse, and sing them, but we're going to have to add them in post.
Is it the original? Is it the original Shakespeare?
Yes.
Written in Klingon.
Well, I'll give him credit on the editing, because I did not realize that was slapped in later, so well done.
I forgot that was a thing, because I took the note before watching the episode, and didn't even notice. So.
The note I made during that scene was, I hate musical episodes of non-musical shows.
There was one moment when the Duras sisters are there on the ship in the conference room, and they have a little shout between Worf and one of them. And Worf shouts out what sounds like "Gital Stovakor!"
Yeah, I heard someone Stovakor.
Which sounded to me like "Die and go to hell."
Yeah,
which is like.
But I thought Stovakor was heaven.
Well, Stovakor is the afterlife.
Oh, okay.
And Gital is to the death. So, Gital Stovakor I would take to roughly translate to "die and go to hell."
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were such a.
Well, we know what Stovakor is, and we know what Gital is, because that was the thing that he did with Sito.
Yeah.
Was Alexander fucking up the ceremonial swing the bat'leth around fake fight thing?
I don't know.
Because all the other people who were taking part in this mock battle were not actually touching bat'leths to each other.
Which is lame as fuck.
Well, it's pageantry. It's basically just them acting.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know.
Listen, I'm here to shit on Alexander.
Yeah. But again, it's like a kid thing, right?
Yikes.
Like if you were a kid, or if you've ever seen a kid at Disney World, they'll let the kid kill Darth Vader, or so it's like one of those things. Like, oh, there's a kid, we'll let him fight, and pretend that he hurts the bad guy.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, you've wounded me.
Yeah.
But they still needed to finish the job.
See, when the guy says, "Oh, you've wounded me," I thought that was like he actually cut him, and you're like, "You're not supposed to do that in these fights. We're supposed to not actually touch."
I'm an actor, you fuck. I'm not even a real Klingon. Son of a bitch.
It's me, Michael Dorn.
TV's Michael Dorn.
But yeah, I don't know. I was intrigued by the Klingon Ren Faire. I wish we'd seen more of it. I know probably for budget reasons.
For 2 seconds, Geordi was there watching.
Yeah.
And then we don't see him again.
No.
Well,
It's like he's walked off. He's banging Lursa somewhere.
He paid that guy to look at the dead guy's head.
Yeah, he did.
He
I just saw you. It's like, whoa, what are they saying? It's like, did all you assholes leave your universal translators
I
at
thought
home
that
today?
too.
I'm wondering if maybe it's some sort of something that's, I don't know, not programmed into the...
It can barely understand Klingon as it is when they're singing. It's like the translator's just like, I'm done. Good fucking
maybe
luck.
it's like an ancient dialect, maybe it's Latin, the Latin
it's like
version
the
of
old
Klingon.
English version or something.
Yeah.
Well, also, maybe you're not permitted to bring universal translators. Maybe it's a sacred right thing and you're not supposed to do that shit there.
It's really just so they could explain to the audience why we were hearing Klingon.
I mean, that's fine. But in my own headcanon, I would think that, if this is some kind of sacred ceremony thing that they do every year and everybody knows the fucking words.
Yeah, we haven't seen subtitles at all in TNG, have we?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So we meet Kim Tal. What's the name?
Kim Tar.
Reptar.
Kim Tar.
Tar.
Reptar, yeah.
So he's he's obviously Alexander, but his explanation for what he is so he's like a manservant kind of deal, or he's like sworn.
I was thinking almost like a consigliere.
Okay. So he has some connection to the House of Moog.
Yeah.
He's their numbers runner.
He works for Kern, would be the idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And realistically, I assume he's never actually met Kern.
Well, no, but there presumably is somebody
An equivalent,
like Kim Tar that it does exist.
Yeah.
The thing is, doesn't Worf? How does Worf recognize him? By his
A ring.
Okay, by
He's
some kind
at the
of piece
ring
of jewelry.
of Moog.
And he knows the name.
Well, he knows the title, I think.
Oh. Sure.
Well, when you say how did he recognize him, you mean because Worf says, I feel like I've seen you somewhere before?
Well, no, when he holds up the ring, he's like, oh, you were my my slave.
Yikes! This took a turn.
Yeah, no, like I think it's more of a
Advisor.
There's
kind of
some
a
weird,
thing.
like, feudal shit.
Yeah.
There. Like, there definitely is, like, an indentured servitude implication to this.
Wait, really? I didn't think that
I think
at
it's
all.
higher than
Like,
servant.
what?
I think it's like I said. I mean, I do think it's more of an almost consigliere role.
I don't know what that means. I don't know
Like,
what a
like in the
consigliere
mafia, there's
is.
like a guy that's not in the family, but he like advises the leaders.
Oh, a
and,
weasel.
and helps out. in
No,
those
well,
things.
like in The Godfather, it's Tom Hagen who's also like their lawyer.
I've not seen The Godfather.
Me either.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it's.
What
it's
is it in that episode of Always Sunny?
I have only seen a couple episodes and I don't know.
Okay.
Who is
I don't
it in
think
the
there is
Boondock
one
Saints?
in there. No, that movie's garbage.
You shut your
We
whore
have
mouth.
had this discussion.
Well, he continues to be wrong.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another example of something like that, but I can't.
he's
Roderick Castle from Game of Thrones.
I was gonna say he's the Deanna Troy of the House of Mo.
Oof.
Actually, kind of like a maester, actually, from Game of Thrones would be probably a more apt analogy.
But also fights.
Yeah, but also fights.
Well, because that's when you're a Klingon. All jobs are, but also fights.
I don't remember how Meisters were. I thought Meisters were just like clergymen who came and stayed at your house for free like a bunch of assholes.
No, they're like teachers and advisors. They're not religious.
They're the people who study the ancient texts. So
Oh,
they're
why did I think they were religious? The whole time that I was watching or reading Game of Thrones, I assumed there was a religious aspect there.
Not to the maesters.
Hmm?
Not to the
Well, I thought there was.
There's septons that are.
Maybe that's what I'm
That
thinking
are
of. I don't
religious.
Those are in the nose, right?
know. I pierced mine.
I know. God, this episode was boring.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going through my notes and most of them are not.
So we do get to see Lursa and Bitor again. We've seen them previously during the Civil War. They got their titties
Yeah,
out.
and they still look good.
Now, is there actually, like, I assume there actually
Titties under
was,
there? Yeah.
at this point, a DS9 episode they actually
Yeah,
appeared
so
in?
it is ref. So there's an episode of DS9 where they are there and they are stealing.
Okay.
Basically, the plot that Riker references
Did happen.
is a reference to an actual.
I mean, I
episode
kind of
of
figured it
DS9.
was a real episode, but I also realized there's like a 5% chance it was a phantom plot.
Yeah, so yeah, they do show up in that episode, but yeah, they're not like they're not the most compelling villains. And in fact, in this case, they weren't even really villains. They were just basically like
There.
doing
Scapegoats.
some work. They were just getting.
I mean, it was
getting paid.
illegal, but it was hardly, on the scale of starting a civil war.
Yeah.
It was pinching some raw materials from
What
guys
I
who
don't
would never
understand is
notice.
why they would consent to beam over to the Enterprise after Riker's like, yeah, we think you tried to kill Worf.
That's a good point.
If they
Come
know,
over here and we'll tell you about
if they
it.
know they're innocent, they just be like, all right, peace out.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well,
Maybe they were hoping for a good fight.
That's true. They're always looking for a good
Yeah, but
fight.
they could have had a much better fight from their ship than, coming on the Enterprise where they...
No way. We've seen Wrath of Khan. It's boring that way. You gotta... You never get the good fight music for the ship stuff. You gotta get in there.
you gotta get the blood on your hands.
On your tits.
So, yeah,
that's,
their
why
whole plot-
that's why they actually have those, like, peepholes in their dresses so they can have blood smeared on their breasts.
So their whole plot really didn't go anywhere.
Boy,
Nope.
talk about a gender reveal party though. look at the dagger. Oh, it's a boy.
I wanted to be surprised.
Oh, I just realized something about that child.
Is it something we
Interesting.
learn later?
Sorta.
All right, tell us later.
Yeah, I know, not now.
Oh, man. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I'll bring it up later.
Great, good for you. I want to jump to the end.
Please.
Please
So, Alexander is from the future.
Mm-hmm.
Not even going to start with that, though. He's here because, oh no, Worf got killed in what sounds like, an honorable way.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what Klingons do.
Yeah.
Alexander's all pissed off and wants to go back in time and stop that.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going back in time to stop Worf getting killed, he decides to go back in time and train himself as a warrior, which will probably entirely change the future anyway, and Worf probably won't even be in that circumstance anymore to begin with. Alexander is a moron.
I was gonna say, he's clearly not gotten any brighter. The years have not been good to him.
Yeah.
They don't even bother telling you anything about the time travel.
Nope.
But
Time crystals.
He's like, sure, I made it work.
Klingons do have time crystals. That is a thing.
And now, what happened to him? Does he
that's
just
what I
live
didn't get.
there now?
That's what I don't get. Yeah, is he just like...
Is he their new pet? How did he go back to the future?
Slingshotted around a sun and a bird of prey.
Got into a train and made it go 88 miles per hour.
Maybe he's going to go hang with Kern and actually do the job he was pretending to do all along.
He's got the ring. I mean...
Or, like, you know, he has actually successfully altered the future, so he just burst into a cloud of atoms.
But has he changed the future?
We don't know!
God fucking hell!
The future!
Actually, it turns... Here's what happens. I know what
Okay.
happens, right? So it turns out that the whole thing was bullshit. That there was no... That Worf isn't killed in the future, and that he was just given that information as a way to test his loyalty to the Duras family to see if he was actually trustworthy or if he would try to defect to the House of Moog. And he's failed the test, so he's going to commit suicide himself with a little Necco wafer that he's stashed in his pants.
Who?
What?
Kimtar?
Kimtar.
So Kimtar isn't actually Alexander from the future.
He's actually Admiral Jarok. I'm making a joke about the actor who played Kimtar is the same actor that played Admiral Jarok.
Oh, that's right. I looked that up and I forgot.
Yeah, he's also literally the same actor who plays Maura Pole, who we would have met like 2 weeks ago on DS9.
Huh.
And the snap on TNG were like, no, let's not get him again. We literally just saw him on DS9 and that's weird. And I forget who directed this, but they said, no, we want to make it the good actor who we like, who will be good in this fucking role. Fuck DS9.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
But yeah, it definitely... He is a good actor.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
I'm glad that they use him a few more times. Or at least one more time, I guess. I don't know.
He's also in Voyager.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else have I got? Boop, boop, boop. Oh, here we go. The original premise didn't have Alexander at all, but was going to be a Romulan ship from a peaceful future that turned out to be a hoax and had a fake Riker on it.
So
I do like that version better. It doesn't have Alexander.
Oh man, they should have brought... This would be a good Tom Riker, a way to bring back Tom Riker.
Everything's a good way to bring
Who's
back
that,
Tom
Dadams?
No,
that's fake
Riker's
brother.
transporter
Oh,
clone.
dude, yes, they should have. Oh my
Clone Riker.
god. I
Kyle's
love
his
him.
dad.
Riker. And they
Thank
also
you.
wanted to reprise the K'Ehleyr role as the rescuer at the end.
What?
But Susie Plaxton was busy.
From the past?
Yeah, I don't know how it would have worked, and I think they decided it was going to be too complicated to figure out, considering how much complicated bullshit is in this episode to begin with.
I could see them doing like a mirror universe thing, maybe. But they never do mirror universe on TNG.
Thank God.
Get ready for DS9. So much mirror universe.
God damn it.
And it's all silly. It's so silly.
No, Ames is going to be really unhappy for 7 seasons of a television show, isn't she?
There's a lot of good DS9. I think the Mirror Universe device is
It's just a fan
unnecessary.
service. It's a fan service.
It's fan
thing.
servicey, especially
Oh, are we
considering...
talking about Trials and Tribulations? Because I've seen that one.
No, that's time
not
travel.
Mirror
That's time
Universe.
travel. No, we're
Oh,
talking
I
about
don't
like
know.
the mirror universe.
No, I know. I guess I don't know. I was
Spock's beard.
Yeah, I know.
Spock, where's your beard?
The women!
Spock's beard, you know.
His wife.
To Pring, yeah.
So I'll grant that this episode was boring, but not as boring as Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. I got bloodlines.
Tell us about Bloodlines, Caitlin.
So in Bloodlines, the second part of our Father's Day special, Jean-Luc
Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard? God damn it, Q. Bloodlines opens, and we are hailed by some asshole Ferengi who's like, hey, Picard, you killed my kid, now I'm gonna kill your kid, bitch!
It's DaiMon Bok.
Bok.
We've seen him
Yes,
before,
it is.
although he's a different actor.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was a different Ferengi actor, because they only have so many different Ferengi actors, too.
They don't want to make those heads over and over again. Those are expensive. Where else do you find, there's a limited supply of actors between 4'6" and 5'1", so.
Go on, Caitlin.
But yeah, it's DaiMon Bok, and he's threatening Jean-Luc's kid. And Jean-Luc is like, what kid?
Wesley?
Yeah, I know.
That's
I thought
fine.
that too.
Take him.
Oh God, I forgot to mention. I was so mad when they didn't have him being like, Wesley, I'm your father, and Wesley's send off last week. Oh well.
Good luck finding him. He's off bopping through space with a creep.
Yeah, so it turns out, well, it doesn't turn out, but we're led to believe that Jean-Luc may have knocked a girl up that he was having fun with for like literally 2 weeks. And so he's like, well, shit, I guess we gotta go save this kid, see if he's my son, and, you know, save him from imminent danger. They go find the kid. They do a Maury Povich-style DNA test, and
You are
the father. And then the rest of the episode is basically like Jean-Luc Picard trying to be like a daddy to this fucking kid who hates him. And
for no real reason, also.
He's a dick.
yeah, but he's just like a little petulant shitbag, this kid.
Well, the thing is, he's supposed to be like 24. The actor seriously looked 40.
He was 36. I looked it up.
Was he really?
Yep.
Oh my lord.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Good choice, guys.
pretty rough looking for 24.
How hard is it to get actors that are roughly the right age?
I don't know. Apparently it's really fucking hard. He's probably somebody's nephew or
Son?
grandfather.
I didn't look into him.
Yeah, no, I looked it up because I was like, there is no way this motherfucker's 23. And yeah, no, he was 36 at the
He
time.
was 105. So yeah, we spend our time basically, you know, bopping between Jean-Luc and Son, trying to hang out, and fucking DaiMon Bok, like, creepily appearing to Jean-Luc in, like, his quarters and, like, in random places. Ultimately, DaiMon Bok does get his hands on the kid, and Jake, god damn it.
I was wrong, listeners. The placemat saga continues.
It will always continue. As long as there are placemats in the world,
You know,
it will
you
continue.
could throw it away. You know, that would.
But then we
that
won't
would
have
stop.
enough placemats for the table.
We could throw them all away then. It's fine.
Ones.
Yeah, some new ones that fucking Jake can't dismantle. Get some
Find
new
a
ones
way.
made of fucking adamantium.
He'll always find a way.
Some unobtainium. So, but what a twist! He's not really Jean-Luc Picard's kid. DaiMon Bok, like, I don't know, jizzed in their fucking Petri dish.
When did this happen?
Again, it's this show's lack of understanding of what DNA is.
Yeah, no,
last
like they
week.
really just kind of fudged the results.
When
And
did DaiMon Bok kidnap and change the DNA of a boy?
Excellent fucking question.
but you know what's also excellent? We're not going to get the answer to that question.
There's
so
no answer.
don't worry about it.
There's only 3 episodes left of the series.
So,
And the question is it going to get worse than this or better?
so
So,
Ernie Bok Jr.
What?
is all like, DaiMon Bok,
Oh, okay.
what's the point? Like,
Oh.
haha! I'm going to make Picard think I killed his son that wasn't real, and I'll know that. And vengeance,
You know
I
what's
guess?
hilarious?
What?
The idea for this episode came from the writers. They were talking with Picard, or talking with Patrick Stewart, and I think Brent Spiner was around somewhere during Masks. And they're like, we've only got a couple episodes left. We don't have a plan for any of them. What plot lines do you think haven't been completed that we could go and finish up for the end of the series?
and Jean-Luc's like, you haven't made it explicit enough that I used to rail my way through lots and lots of pussy, so how about if I have an illegitimate son running around out there?
Yeah, no. So Patrick Stewart says, well, how about that DaiMon Bok character? We never got back to him. And they hand the script off to...
And they said, who?
yeah, and they hand the script off to... pronounce it wrong again. God fucking damn it. To Nick Sagan. Because they can't give this guy a good goddamn script to write.
No.
Sorry,
and-
Carl. Nick.
And Nick Sagan wrote this. Apparently he drew some inspiration from the fact that he and his father, Carl, were estranged at the time.
Wow, good one, bud.
Yeah, great.
But like,
Nice.
but for Bok, what satisfaction is there? Like,
He just has a fucking... It's a revenge thing. He's basically Khan for no goddamn
yeah, but just
reason.
kill Picard! Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why
like,
does it always to be this fucking diabolical Dr. Evil shit?
Like,
you know?
I invented a magic teleporter that can beam through shields. I could literally show up in his room, go, wake up, motherfucker, so that I am the last thing he sees. But instead, I'm gonna come up with this Rube Goldberg nonsense. never going to hear about this transporter
Yeah,
again.
I was gonna
by
say
the
like
way.
that to me is like Ferengi are all into profit, right?
Yeah. Except
And-
this one.
Except for this one.
This one's into
But you would think that
revenge.
one of his crew would be like, wait a minute.
It's
So
a
you're
dish
telling
best
me
served
that
cold.
you invented a transporter that
Out of a DeLorean?
that can literally transport, light years away
And through shields?
and through shields.
And with precision?
I think we could make a fortune.
Oh, that's true.
But
When you get it the first couple of times, I thought he was just a hologram or something.
Yeah.
I'm
But once we
starting to
I
get
thought
there,
that too, yeah.
I'm starting to think like between this and the multiphasic shield guy, I'm beginning to think that Ferengi are actually really good scientists.
like, amazing.
Like
They just don't care about it because it doesn't have as much profit as they think
there would be so much profit. They could sell this.
I mean, first you invent...
Imagine the Romulans had this technology. They'd beam it onto Earth and just teabag the president.
What
of the
you do,
Federation.
you invent this transporter that can beam through normal shields, invent a shield that it can't beam through, and sell both to everybody.
That's some Tony Stark shit right there.
Yeah.
And apparently it wasn't that complicated because they were able to reverse engineer it on the Enterprise pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And without testing. They just did it. They're like,
Yeah.
Picard's like, I volunteer. And they're like, Sir, you're the captain. No, fuck this.
Need I remind
It's
you
my
of the-
36-year-old, 23-year-old boy.
Who, like, legit wants to have nothing to do with me.
And Picard
Oh,
already
he has
knew.
a-
He already knew at that point that it wasn't his son.
Yeah.
So
But,
Yeah.
but
He
also...
could have just let this kid die. It would have been fine.
Yeah, we would know, but we would
He
all be aware
was,
of it.
dun dun dun, a criminal.
And he also had
No,
some
like,
kind of
petty
degenerative
criminal.
disease.
Well, no, that was caused by whatever Bok did
was it?
to make his
Yeah,
DNA look
Oh,
like
I thought
he
it
was
was just.
bigger.
I thought it was just.
Interesting.
I thought it was just a coincidence.
No, it was caused by Bok's hoodly what.
Fucking Bok, what a piece of shit.
I feel like having an actor that was actually young maybe would have made his petulance feel. I'm still would have been annoying, but at least coming out of an actually young person, you'd be like, yeah, I was a shithead when I was
I don't
23.
know, really, because it wasn't any good when fucking Wesley was doing it.
Last week, no.
Fair enough.
I
But
mean,
it's
no, I
even
think it would
worse,
still
though,
be
coming out of a
obnoxious.
guy who,
Why? No. Now.
Is it just me, or does this episode in some ways feel a lot like a rehash of Suddenly Human?
I have no idea
That's
what
the one
is.
with Jono, the kid that
Oh,
was raised by
yeah.
aliens, and then
Forgot about
What
that.
reminds you of that?
because Picard tries to father him, just tries to be the.
He's still not a bad father.
No,
He's just
but
a bad
it's like
kid.
why do we have to have another Picard acting like a dad?
Yeah.
And then there was also a lot of parallels to David Marcus. Again, like the petulant son.
I don't want you to be my dad. I never needed you before.
Yeah, it's like okay. And how the fuck did Bok Bok is a supervillain because so he also invent the thing that allowed that got Picard to hallucinate the Stargazer stuff?
I don't think he invented it. I think he just had it because they already explained that there was a known thing to Ferengis and that it was banned.
Yeah.
Well, either way, so he pulled that whole stunt.
Yeah.
Now he's done this one where this had to be years in the planning. What kind of fucking research did he do to find this broad that Picard was nailing 25
Had a
years
kid.
ago?
It's not his, but it's in the right age range to have been his. Maybe DaiMon Bok is actually the father.
I would have bought
Hey!
it. I would have bought it because I don't know if I'd seen this one before actually. So I was kind of expecting it to be a clone type situation.
Oh yeah, in the original script, Bok genetically engineered a son for Picard.
He
and
was
claimed to have him.
he wasn't a real he was biologically Picard's, but
Yeah.
it was like a fake out.
This show is fucking wild. Where do they come up with this shit?
But the thing is, they come up with the lamer version of the shit.
Oh god, how about that incredibly lengthy Picard scaling a wall sequence?
I liked it.
That could have been cut by about a lot.
You got a lot of Patrick Stewart butt acting, and I think it's fine.
I wanted more of that cute security guard.
Yeah, she's alright.
She was totally into it, dude. You should have gone for her.
Yeah, I also didn't care that wasn't what's his guy's name? Jason Vega. Wasn't he hitting on Troy at some
Yeah,
point?
Oh, yeah.
that was kind of gross.
She was
I
very
feel
upbeat.
better
Troy's
already.
like, I sense
A fuckboy.
that you're a sleazebag.
Yeah.
But he was rude to the security guard, which...
That's the thing. It's like, what? No, I meant your first name. And she's like, oh, hey, Sandra? And he's like, yeah, fuck off, would you? It's like, dude, she was totally, like, into you, you shithead.
Yeah, loser.
Some men are assholes.
Like, there was what did they say? There was like 8 humans on that planet. So,
yeah.
you know.
Well, in that section of the planet specifically.
Yeah. I don't think he gets out much.
Well,
Probably
we don't
not.
know what the alien species are, do we?
They're almost certainly compatible.
Also, like, they
Certainly.
wanted to sell that he was like a crook, like a criminal.
Well, he didn't do. He did what? Like occasionally trespass to go spelunking.
Yeah.
He stole some crap.
Like maybe they could have like.
Well,
maybe
so
they,
is Jean-Luc. He's always stealing people's fucking
like,
antiquities.
How much more
Oh.
interesting would it have been if instead of just beaming him out of a rock climbing thing, they had to like negotiate with some warden of a jail to like.
Oh, I like
To
that
like
better.
buy his freedom or like trade
yeah,
something.
and then Picard can be conflicted on whether he wants to help this guy or not.
Yeah, and then we're
Oh
it's
God, my
actually
son is actually
established.
a criminal.
Like the guard could be like some smug prick that's like, well, I would let him go under your custody, but his rap sheet is as long as my arm. You know.
You know what I did like, speaking of prison, was just how matter-of-factly the, like, other Ferengi dude was like, oh yeah, he bought his way out.
Yeah, I like that.
Like,
That's
this
good.
is probably how, you know,
So Ferengi.
9 out of 10 Ferengi sentences end.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, bought his way out.
Well, it's an interesting thing, you know. I've mentioned it before how the Ferengi society is slowly built,
Mm.
a lot in DS9, and like literally like everything in Ferengi society is built around
Profit.
buying shit. Like
Yeah.
the elevator, has a coin slot and things like that. It's stuff like that.
I wonder if they were commenting on any particular society or country when they come up with these guys.
I don't know. But I do think that's interesting. So yeah,
Whoa!
They do,
mind
like-
blown.
They were Yankee traders, after all.
Yeah.
so they do work in some of the DS9 era Ferengi-ness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're no longer like, oh, they're so rash. Oh, this is brutal even for the
They're
Ferengi.
violent. They have their laser whips.
Well, even I think this is the first TNG mention of the rules of acquisition.
Mm.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I like that. They were debating a change, and that was why like the
No one could answer the
leadership
phone.
couldn't call them back.
Which sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from this 8 seconds of. This was the episode with the 8 seconds of Quark, right? No, that was the last episode.
No, it was
Yeah.
this one.
No, that was the one where.
Oh,
they
it was
were
the last
This
one.
is
You're
a-
right.
this is a
You're right.
different- this is a-
Jesus.
This
Sorry.
is a different Ferengi.
Ferengi
They
everywhere.
look up. Yeah, there's a lot of Ferengi and a lot of sons this week.
Yep.
The Ferengi are all my sons.
Wow, that's a lot of sons. Well, I enjoyed that look at Quark because that made me really excited for DS9. But I know that was last episode, so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a little,
in
I'm a little late.
his fabulous jacket. But yeah, this Ferengi was just there to be like, no, he's not a Daemon. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why would we let
You
that
saw
asshole
what he
be
did,
a Daemon?
right? He didn't make profit, so we kicked him out.
Yeah, but it seems like if you can just buy yourself a ship and you can call yourself a Daemon, and
Yeah.
who's gonna stop you? Apparently,
No
Your
one.
crew when they
I don't
find
know.
out.
You can buy yourself a regular ship and call yourself a captain as long as you have one of those dumb hats.
that's true. You need the hat though.
Yeah, the hat is key.
Technically, you really just need the hat. You can lie and say you've got a boat.
So they take Jason back to planet Shitulon,
Yeah.
Shitulon!
and he's just gonna go back to being a crook.
He's gonna try to straighten up and fly right to
And
impress his not
Picard
dad.
specifically gave him that thing that he said was lame.
Mm.
Yes, you're stuck with this stick
But
forever
see, now he
Well,
understands.
Dad, you really suck at gifts. You're not my real father. You're right, I'm not.
You know what a great twist would have been?
Um,
Because, my mother never said who my father was. She just said he was Starfleet. So at the end, Bev is sitting there and she's like, Riker? Cut to black.
no, even
Boothby.
no,
Ha!
better. Jack?
I think,
Oh,
I
that's
think
good.
it would be hard for Riker to have a son who is older than him. No, but really, how old was Jonathan Frakes at this time? Was he actually younger than the
away.
actor that was supposed to be the 23-year-old?
I will tell you in a minute. Entertain yourselves while I Google.
Cool. I want to note good job doing nothing, a security team. Because he gets beamed away, and they just stand there like, oh,
They're like, oh no, he's
there he
being
goes.
beamed away.
He's leaving.
Yeah, but like honestly, how sad would you be to see him go if
We
he's
saw
been a total
fucking-
dick
what's
that
her-
whole time?
What's her name? Jillian Taylor, or whatever her name was, from 4, jump on Shatner as he's beaming, and she went with him.
Yeah, and
These
she
guys
had to.
couldn't have done that.
She had to touch Shatner. I mean,
He was,
like,
Frakes was 42 at this point.
Okay.
So he could totally have been the dad.
Yep.
Well, he could have been the dad of a 23-year-old.
you're the father.
But is Riker also 43?
I think they're supposed to be the same age,
I
right?
thought Riker was supposed to be like 30
Is he?
in Farpoint.
Maybe. So maybe Frakes is a little older
How
than the
old
character.
is Alexander?
47.
Because they say, this is going back to the last episode just a little bit, but they say,
He was 3 when his mother
He
died.
was 3 when his mother died. I think they said now he's 10, but that could be in Klingon years, which might be different.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
have to take the rites of ascension until he's 13, with the pressuring him to do it now. Fucking goddamn
Yeah,
bad
no,
parenting.
they definitely,
Well,
I
'cause
think
he's
there's
gotta learn
definitely
all
a
the
Klingon
stuff.
years thing going on.
If
with the
yeah, but if he doesn't start now, he's not gonna have time to learn all this shit.
It's like a bar mitzvah. You gotta...
Yeah, you gotta go to Hebrew school and you gotta start going now, or you're gonna fuck up the Torah. Yeah.
Were you confirmed, Chris?
Oh, unfortunately.
Oh, I was confirmed. It was dumb.
Were you guys also the other one?
What?
Communion's first. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
But in second grade.
Confirmation's the last one. So
I
feel like
know,
actually
dude, I don't
study
know
shit,
you.
don't you, for that?
no, I
No,
just
it's
had
the
to,
easiest
yeah.
fucking test.
You just sit there and get droned at by a priest.
See, I barely fucking because I did CCD for a little while. I did it up to like communion, and then I was like, yeah, this is fucking stupid.
Good for you.
But
It's so dumb that they make you do it when you're like 12 or 13.
No,
when you don't really have the capacity to make your own choices.
Yeah, but that's why they do
Yeah,
it
that's what
then.
indoctrination
It's so
Because they have to
fucking dumb, and I
fucking
hate it.
brainwash you. That's the only way to get people into the fucking church is if you're young enough to believe in fairy tales.
I just
mean-
remember there was a lot. I just remember like for the communion part anyway, there was a lot of like rote memorization of prayers.
Yeah.
Every
Like,
kid's favorite
specific
thing.
prayers, and it was like,
For communion?
yeah, I remember there.
Communion, all you have to know is how to put a wafer in your mouth.
They made us like say prayers.
Really?
Yeah. I remember I was really fucking nervous about it. There's a whole thing where like all the kids from the communion class had to go into the church and like say the prayers in front of the priest, and then you had to go and tell the priest your sins.
That's not communion.
But that was part of the
Oh,
process.
Yeah, well, they had us do confession beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it was like
guessing that,
and then like a few weeks later was the communion bit. That was all before the communion. And then,
Yeah.
then there was like a big ceremony with the communion.
Yeah, you have to wear a cute little white frilly dress or a little boy suit.
Yeah.
Is it safe to assume that Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, did not count as one of the prayers?
All I
No.
know
It's
is
close.
I bought my own VCR with my communion money.
Holy shit.
Communion money?
Yeah.
I don't remember much.
It's the only reason I did it. Because I didn't want to. My parents were like, look, you're the eldest on this side of the family. It'll make your grandmother happy, and hey, there'll be money. And I went, fine.
I remember that there's this church lady that lives behind my parents' house. She's big involved with the church, and she like called to guilt me into trying to get me to do confirmation. Like my mom was like, "Hey," her first name is Santa. So my mom's
What's
like,
her last name? Cruz?
I don't want to name names, but her,
No, I know.
I think we can track her down just by that.
yeah, well, she goes by Sandy, but her
That's
her
even
actual name is
naming
Santa.
this woman.
Kidnap
So my
the
mom was like,
Sandy Claus.
Santa's on the phone. I'm like, Ma, I don't believe in Santa. I'm 12. And she's like, no, Santa from next door. I'm like, oh, hello? And she said,
Why don't you go to communal confirmation?
your mother told me that you're thinking of not taking the confirmation class. And I was like, yeah, I'm really not interested in it.
I've got better things to do with my
I'm
afternoons.
not really religious.
I've discovered
and she's like, well,
the
you're
girls
gonna
exist.
It's like she did the whole thing where like, well,
You'll regret it when
might
you're
not
burning
want
in
it.
hell.
You might not want it now, but later in life it'll help you.
How's it gonna help?
I got a fourth name that doesn't legally exist. It hasn't changed my life
Is it
at
true
all.
that
The
you
only-
can't technically get married
Yes,
in a church?
in the Catholic
But you know how
Church.
you get around that? You lie to the priest, like
Right.
my father did.
Like, yeah, but I don't know that they keep strong records.
They do
like,
not.
Like, are they
Well,
going to
they
check?
probably take slightly better records
I
now.
was like, no.
After they caught wind to your dad lying about
I
it.
was
Yeah.
confirmed
They
in
had
a
to
village
tighten
in
things.
Zimbabwe, and they
My,
didn't write
Wow.
it down.
My father lied to the priest about having been confirmed, and their bastard son was in the front row.
Nice.
I think they didn't mention me either.
Who was their bastard son? JK, I know.
Anyway, Star Trek?
Anyway,
Yes.
sorry, that was
Do we have
jumping.
to? Let's talk more about Catholicism. Sorry, Ames.
Oh, it is the worst.
That's true.
Ego.
What else did I have on this?
Yeah, I had very few notes. I was very bored very quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it while I was watching it, but now in retrospect, I kind of hate it because there's nothing to say. It isn't like it was.
Patrick Stewart was good.
He was
But
fine.
yeah, I just think this whole... Oh, by the way, we resequenced his DNA, and then we're not going to explain any of that. And you're like, wait, this is the important part. What the fuck is going on?
This episode had another example of, like, Bev is in the middle of a medical procedure.
And just walks away.
Yeah, but then something happens
Fuck
and
this
she's like...
patient.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this should be on the medical emergency. It's like, and the literally lying on the table. Like, I kind of wanted them to, like, linger on that person. They go, so I'll wait here then? Bitch.
You know what else is great is that they looked up Miranda Vigo, the woman that Picard put his thing to. Wasn't that funny, but alright, I'll take that. And they're like, okay, yeah, she moved to whatever planet that Boyle lives on. Let's
Boyle.
go there. They didn't. You probably should have found the death certificate. It's probably logged right there, and you're surprised that she died. And Picard's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. Your mother is dead. I banged her, you know."
I cannot believe that there is no male birth control in the future.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, we're pretty close to having it now.
Accidental pregnancy should just not
be a
exist
thing, yeah.
by the 24th century.
But he didn't impregnate her.
No, but somebody...
No, but he thought it was a pot. Like, you think the first thing he'd be like, no, I was on the pill. There's no way I have a son with her.
Well, the pill's not always 100% effective.
But in the future, it would be. It would be like
Future pill.
a little robot that eats your sperms before they come out. You know, I don't know.
And then it burps and goes, sperms.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jake is an inventor.
Let me just put this robot in your nutsack, mate.
No, you really need, because there's so
That's
many...
amazing. Jake.
There's so many sperm. You'd actually need, like, little squadrons of tiny robots that, like... It's like, no, here comes another batch. Go, go, go. I'm going down.
Like,
Yikes.
honestly, though,
Just
like,
constant war in your nuts.
you know, it should really be
That's
like
the title of this episode.
Suicide is
Gattaca by
painless.
then. I'm sure they don't because of con problems.
What happened
Yeah.
in Gattaca?
That was the one where all the kids were genetically engineered, and if you were a naturally born child,
Killer.
then you were an outcast for
Yep.
being inferior.
What was the sterilization part?
There was no. I was just saying, like,
Oh, I'm
like,
just always
like
hoping
all
for
like there would like you wouldn't
Yikes.
you wouldn't even bang for babies. Like you would just go to a place and be like, yeah, here's some jizz, here's some egg, make me
Toss
an omelet.
salads and
Yeah.
scrambled eggs.
Kelsey Grammer whips up a baby for you.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh dearie,
but yeah,
dear.
But yeah, I'm sure there's like concerns about eugenics and things like that.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
So, like, Ernie Bok.
Who?
Bach?
DaiMon Bok.
Why do you keep calling him
Because
that?
Ernie Bok Jr.
Ernie Bach Jr.
It's a local car
We've
salesman.
got it. Ernie Bach Jr. Everything you're looking for. He sells cars.
What kind of cars?
Just various
Used
brands.
cars.
Yeah,
Couple
really
of-
new car. He owns a bunch of car dealerships. He's a big trumper.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
I saw him play. So I went to a Christopher Guest was
Okay.
being awarded an honorary doctorate from Berkeley,
Yeah.
Berkeley College of Music. And they were having like a big event for it, and they were going to be doing Spinal Tap stuff, and Christopher Guest was going to perform as part of it. So I was like, I love Spinal Tap, I love
do.
Christopher Guest, so I'm going to go watch the thing.
10-4.
And then they made this whole big deal. It's like, you know, I was like, they're like, yeah, Christopher Guest is here, and we have another special guest that will be revealed later in the program. Like, oh my god, you know, it's going to be Harry Shearer, or, you know, it's going to be one of the other band members. It's going to be fucking awesome. And then it's like, and our special guest is Ernie Bok Jr.
They couldn't get Al Caprillion that day?
It's like, so Ernie Bok Jr. was performing with Christopher Guest for the Spinal Tap thing, and I was bummed out. But then I later got to see actual Spinal Tap with the original cast.
That's cool.
That's pretty
That's
good.
awesome.
I
haven't watched that in a
It's going to be a
dog's
really
age.
short episode. We have nothing left to talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave in
want-
all the...
I know you have to leave in everything. We should talk more about the Catholic Church,
We
really.
should.
See, I told you we should talk more about that.
You know, I went and when I got my first communion, instead of saying amen like you're fucking supposed to, I said thank you.
You said yeah, sure, whatever.
I always thought I crossed myself the wrong way. It's like, are you supposed to? But I always thought you were supposed to go up, down, right, left.
I thought it was left, right,
But
but
left.
I
I don't know if there's
wrong.
a maybe they're
It's
both.
yeah, left, right.
I do left,
think.
right.
Pretty sure
But
it's
I
left,
don't know
right.
I don't know either.
I don't know if that's
Who the fuck
correct.
gives a shit? Honestly, I mean, I don't.
They don't
Jesus,
They
okay?
don't
Jesus
actually
really
teach
gives a
you
shit.
anything
No,
in
that's
church.
true.
Oh man.
Because Catholicism doesn't want you
Yeah,
thinking.
I was complaining one day to my brother about that because he and I went to 9 years of Catholic school and are both now atheists.
Yeah.
Which is how it works.
Yeah, Catholicism creates more atheists, agnostics, and Protestants than it does Catholics.
Yeah, and I was talking one day about how the actual education, like the religious education, because I don't remember learning any of religion.
No,
in
not at all.
in Catholic school, and I said, you know what they should have done is taught you all of the religions. So that you would know anything about any of the other
That's more
religions.
like a theology.
Yeah,
Well,
but
then,
also
should
they
teach
don't
that.
want you to know those things because they don't want you to think you have options. They want you to choose.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not about
big
it's
JC,
really
they
not
don't
about
care.
teaching you about religion. It's about
Yeah.
indoctrinating you into that religion.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I just remember when I went to college, and in one of my classes there was a Sikh kid, and I just remember he was the really nice kid.
And you were like, "Are you Osama?"
No, and I just remember being like,
Oh my god!
I know nothing about the Sikh religion. I literally have no idea what you believe.
Yeah, no,
I
I
think
learned,
I don't
they're
actually know anything.
pacifists.
I know. That's about all I know about. Sikhs
I
as
learned
well,
more
so.
about...
Also, they don't ever cut their hair. That's mostly why they got the turban, is because they can wrap it up.
Yeah, I learned way more about religion in ninth grade world history.
Mm-hmm.
And even then it was mostly just about the schisms within the Catholic Church, leading to various Protestant denominations. We did a little bit on Buddhism.
Most of what I know about religion is stuff that my mom told me because she has all these religious conspiracy theories.
Ooh,
So-
tell
so
us
you
some
know
of your
what-
mom's conspiracy
so you know they're
theories.
Well, I'd already told you about the Ark of the Covenant,
Which actually
a
still
few weeks ago,
makes...
which is kind of a
that's
fun one.
believable, honestly.
She's all into she's told me all about the apocryphal Gospels,
Oh, those are fun.
which are
There's some good shit in there.
supposedly other Gospels that were. She says, or that I guess the conspiracy is that they were written contemporaneously with the other Gospels, but were suppressed by the popes.
Like the Book of Mary.
Like the Book of Mary. I think there's a Gospel of Thomas or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. At the very least, I mean, it may have just been biblical fan fiction, but I mean that it is true that there are other Gospels, and it was ultimately at some point the church sat down and said, "Okay, which of these count?" And they picked the four
It's
they
like
picked.
the Council of Nicaea or something like
And
that.
then they edited the crap out
Oh
of them.
goodness, yes.
But yeah, so that's
We're gonna take out this part where Jesus had sex with lots of whores.
We're gonna take out the part where Jesus had a wife and turn it into he got crucified instead.
Perfect.
So yeah, I have no doubt that. But the thing is, I would say that all of it is heavily edited, right? That,
sure.
That it was written. I mean, for a long time, it wasn't even really written. It was.
No, that's true,
It
too.
was
Orally.
told, and I'm sure there were scribed versions of it, but
But no one else could read.
The King James version was the first one that was popularized, and that was really written to support the particular point of view of King James.
Yeah.
And sort of the Protestant view of things. So, who knows, man? And then, of course, there's the Joseph Smith edition with a lot more sci-fi.
Really, it's the religion of this. I don't know. I was gonna try to make a fucking sci-fi joke. I got nothing.
I mean,
You nailed it.
he went to space, had a wife, had a Native American wife, I believe, is part of it. Left Earth.
Is this Mormonism or
Scientology? This is Mormon.
I can't tell the
Scientology.
difference.
Scientology doesn't have Jesus.
This is that episode where Kirk thought he was a Native American and was so happy.
I don't know a ton about the Book of Mormon, but my limited understanding, and again, this is like the same thing with Scientology, which I know what I've seen from internet videos, which is
So you know they're right.
Jesus after the resurrection, Jesus left the Middle East, came to America, married a Native American woman,
Accurate.
sired some children,
You're like, yep, tracks.
and then ascended, but not to heaven, to another planet called Kobol, where he is still king today.
Oh, but specifically the Native American woman, I think.
was
her
Sacagawea, and that's why she's on the coins.
No, but the
Miramani.
specific tribe was actually descended from one of the lost tribes of Israel, which somehow found its way to North America, even though transatlantic ships really didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
and,
that works. That all works fine.
And they integrated with the
accident.
locals.
Spaceships.
Well, there was probably a second, like Noah built one ark, and then they built another ark.
There we go.
And they just got blown way off course and landed in America.
Okay, so I can actually tie this into Star Trek. There's in the edition of the motion picture soundtrack that I own, there's a whole second disc with all kinds of really interesting stuff. And one of the things is an interview Gene Roddenberry did where he was making fun of network notes. Mm-hmm. And so he came up with what he feels like the network notes would have been for the Bible. And one of the only
Not believable enough.
Yeah. And like one of the only things I remember from it was he's like, not sure about this Noah's Ark thing. Not enough characters. Suggest fleet of arcs. So, I'll have to try to dig that
That's
up.
good. That's
Who
really
wrote
good.
this?
Roddenberry.
Wow, that's pretty clever.
Yeah, no, and there's this thing, I think I mentioned it before, but that's the same disc where he's got the whole, like, Roddenberry interviews Mark Leonard in character as Sarek and asks him about, like, Spock's upbringing and stuff.
I whipped him every day.
I'll try to find it. I forget what else is on there.
Made fun of him because he's half human.
I think there's a bit where he talks to D. Kelly, but not in Kelly, just...
With kittens? Is he holding a handful of kittens?
I don't know. It's audio only, so... Yeah.
You can tell the kittens are there, though.
Oh, yeah, in your heart, you know it. We've probably padded this enough,
Yeah,
right?
this is padded. We've gone off on religion for a while.
Well,
We got back to Star Trek in the end. I mean, to TOS, but it's closer than we had been for a while.
Well, we have very, very little TNG
yeah,
to do.
I mean, so next week we'll talk about the two penultimate episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Emergence.
See.
I wonder if there'll be an emergency. Yeah, and Preemptive Strike.
Oh.
Preemptive Strike.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, somebody didn't pull out.
Was it Jean-Luc Picard?
Well, clearly. Yeah, and those are it. And then after that, it's All Good Things, the finale. So
Shit, crazy.
we're coming up on the end, folks.
That's
So
Not much left for our top and bottom lists.
yeah. So next week should be interesting. I think. I mean, I honestly can't remember a thing about Emergence. Preemptive Strike, I know, is a Rolaren episode. So that's
Oh,
kinda
thank
nice.
God. I miss Ro. Is she in any of the movies?
No, she's.
Boo!
That's too bad.
Her conclusion in Preemptive Strike explains why, I think.
Because she's pregnant?
Because she's pregnant with Jean-Luc's baby.
But we will see that random yellow shirt woman at least through First Contact.
Mm.
She's
The one
with the short black hair.
Yeah, the short-haired lady that kind of looks 80s.
Very Annie Lennox-ish.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's been appearing in the background for a while.
She's
now.
always on the bridge, just hanging around, or in 10 Forward. She's just a background actor that's distinctive, and she's been in the show for like several seasons.
Yeah, she's just always there.
But she never had a line.
She's basically the Lieutenant Leslie the closest thing TNG has to Lieutenant Leslie.
Yes.
But she doesn't die and come back.
No. But I think I looked her up once. I think the last we see of her is in First Contact.
Yeah, she's definitely on the bridge in First Contact. I know that. I've seen it.
Nice continuity.
Yeah.
She probably got assimilated in that movie.
No, she's fine.
Yikes.
She's fine.
All right, cool. Well, so that's coming up next time. Again, that's Emergence and Preemptive Strike. So we hope you'll join us for that. Until then,
Please join us. We're sorry about this episode, but look what we had to work with.
Yeah, we'll get better. All good things will be great. So
see
you
what
know,
I
if you
have
really
to
want,
work
you can
with.
skip next week too. If you really just want to get to the
there's
the
Ro.
meat and potatoes. Now, listen every week because it's great and you love us. Until then, though, you can listen to us on SoundCloud and not iTunes, but the other Apple, and on Google, and any other podcast medium that you have.
Probably.
A podcast I'm listening to keeps telling people to download their thing on Stitch.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of I thought it was... Is it Stitch or Stitcher?
It was Stitcher. But maybe
Sure,
it was Stitch.
Stitcher. Are we on that one?
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
think you'd have to set it up.
Somebody let us know if we're on that. We'll try to find out. But if we're not on there, don't go there. Or go there for other podcasts.
Well, I
They
think
never
that-
answer us when we ask these questions.
I know.
We
What
would
are
have
the
to,
jerks?
I think you have to set it up.
I don't know. Have people been giving us reviews on Apple?
I don't know if your reviews exist anymore now that it's
I think they
Apple
do.
Podcasts.
I think the ones from iTunes transferred over.
Good. Give us more. We love you.
More.
Write us a good one. The 5-star or 2.
A bunch of you apparently loved Rick Berman is Made of Lies. That has like the most listens.
I think it's just because you made fun of Rick Berman in the title.
I know, that's clearly
They're
what
all
I should
just
be...
listens by Rick Berman.
He angrily
He has a
hate
Google
links.
alert on himself. Someone's making fun of me on the internet.
Hi, Rick. I'd say we love you, but we don't. You're a creepy, creepy man.
He is. He sure is. But, he's a creepy fucking, Me Too kind of jackass. He did kind of save Star Trek, I think. So,
Yeah, but then he ran it into the ground.
he did
again.
run into the ground. So, but so there's like that part of me that's like, yeah, I'm kind of glad he exists, but I'm also kind of like
Roddenberry.
glad it's him. Yeah, like Roddenberry.
Yeah. But at least Roddenberry had the excuse of, like, it was the 60s. Like,
Yeah, Rick
Until
Berman
it
was like,
until it
let's
was
make it
made.
like the 60s. Anyway, so that's coming up. Also Twitter, Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, also .com, and on Facebook, you can find us. You can send us a tweet and a link. Send us a link to your podcast, and we'll not probably listen to it unless it's interesting.
I don't know. I might.
Maybe.
We can like each other on the SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I just started listening to the Babysitters Club.
Oh,
It's
also,
great.
next week, we're going to do a LARP. We're just announcing this now. No, we're not really going to do a LARP.
so where are you going with this? Because you're not consulting any of us.
I like how he looked around at us like, guys, this is gonna be good. You got it? You ready? We're having a LARP.
That's just his face. He always looks like that.
Okay, we're not having a
always up to
LARP,
something.
but I'm sowing the seeds of the idea so that maybe one day we'll do a LARP. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, no.
I don't think any of us could. Actually, Chris is not terrible at acting in character.
Yeah, Chris knows how to act.
Just be Henry Higgins. You'll
I'm
be
not
fine.
great with
We'll do lower decks. God, they we'll
probably
be the
are.
assholes of the ship.
I could do that.
We'll be the
yeah.
lowest decks. That could be the name of our LARP. The lowest decks. Jody flushed a big floater again.
Can we take this out?
Yeah, sure. Man. Is that God or does Worf have worms?
Jesus Christ. Is this episode of our podcast done yet?
Yeah, pretty much. My name
What
has
is
been Jake.
going on?
This has been Chris.
What the actual hell? This has been Ames.
This is Caitlin.
Don't blame us, blame the episodes.
No, this one was our fault, though.
Wow.